Start?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So, actually, first of all, welcome to the podcast called as Tubers Behind YouTube. In this podcast, we generally invite the people who are working at the back end and generally building those crazy YouTube channels that sort of goes viral or, yeah. So, in order to talk about YouTube in general. So, firstly, thank you so much for doing the same because I didn't think that we'll be able to do it in such a short time of span. So yeah, thank you so much to both of you for doing the same with us.
No, definitely, definitely. And, thank you for the invite. And, we're used to, I'm sure, as you can imagine, we're very deadline centric as a business. Like we're meeting deadlines every day. So, we're
Absolutely.
used to that. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So we would actually like to start by knowing a little bit about both of your journey individually. Like you guys started out as freelancers, then coming on to building an agency, and to be able to actually bring out those crazy results that Dinko usually post on Twitter.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Well, Dinko, would you like to start with
Yeah.
your story? Go ahead, and I'll go after
Yeah.
you.
So I started working as a freelancer in the video production as a main editor for one of the clients like 3.5 years ago. And this is through this client, I connected with Jordan. And after a year of working together, we decided to start an agency, and we are doing it for almost 2 years now. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
the short story.
Crazy, crazy. Jordan, do you have a similar story, or is it more
Yeah.
or less a different thing?
Yeah, it's fairly similar. I had a different entrance point than Dinko did. I was working for a small YouTuber at the time, and I was uh, I had like a little bit of a network effect. Like I was introduced to some other clients. Originally, it was just a bit of a side hustle. Originally, I saw the opportunity. I'm like, okay, I think I could really do something with this. So, but I was still working, 6 days a week, full time job in a warehouse, right? So I would, be moving furniture by day in a warehouse, and then by night, basically turn into Batman and start editing videos. So that's that's essentially, my origins there. Then, as Dinko mentioned, I eventually met him through a mutual client, and it's hard to find people that you can count. You know what I mean? So when I met Dinko, I'm like, okay, it's like we're both hustlers. We both get stuff done. We just kept teaming up more and more together on future jobs, and that's pretty much what happened there. So
Great, great, great. It's
So,
it's probably like
Dinko,
yeah, yeah. Go on.
yeah. So I was just asking that Dinko, you started freelancing like 3 years ago. Like you got a first client 3 year back, pre COVID, I guess.
Yeah. I used to work as a physical therapist in a hospital, and then just before the COVID hit, I started having interest in video production, and then uh, I started just editing videos on freelancing sites, and then found a client through cold email, and this is how Jordan and I got connected, because I first worked with this client for a couple of months, and then Jordan came to the team, and this is how we started working together.
Crazy. So it is probably like providing
Yeah, I
money
guess.
therapy to the YouTubers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, something like
and
that.
the growth in the past 3 years has been phenomenal for you guys. Like, when you were doing something else before and you just landed up your first client and then started an agency a year after, and then the growth that we see on social media that you guys share with the audience, right? So I personally never thought that you guys just started 3 years ago. Seeing your
Yeah,
growth.
thank you. This is a big compliment.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, I just would like to share my screen, and regards to that, I do have a question.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Actually, we want some revelation from your end. So, can you describe more on the same? Like, which category channel is it? How long did it take you guys to come here, and what sort of changes you did in order to reach here?
Yeah, I mean, so what we realized when we first started forming our agency, regarding all this is we just got good at fulfillment. We're just good at getting the job done, because what we noticed is when you do a good job, right, lead generation, word of mouth, it all kind of happens by itself quite naturally. Of course, you have to stoke the fire a little bit to get things going. But, me and Dinko, we're just focused on getting a good, doing a good job, making sure that like our clients understand why a video is performing well and why it's not performing well, and then making adjustments accordingly. So, you do enough of that, you're able to post screenshots like this, essentially, is the result. So, yeah.
Great, great, great. And which category channel is it? Like, what's the niche of the channel? This
This,
particular.
yeah, this niche, it's in the like men's self improvement area. Yeah, yes,
Cool, cool, cool. And language is English, right?
yes, correct.
Yeah.
Great, 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 man. Great. Cool. So, Divyansh, would you like to go ahead with another question?
Yeah, I think now we can go ahead with some
Yeah.
okay. So, like, if there is anyone in the world wants to start a YouTube channel, right? So the first thing that comes to their mind is what topics should they choose, or basically what niche should they have, right? So, what according to you, what things should we look at before choosing a niche, right? Because if we just talk about our interests, so I think we have a lot of interest in a lot of areas, right? So, based on what factors should we choose the niche?
Sure. I mean, so in terms of getting started, say particularly on your first YouTube channel, you want to consider a few main areas, right? So one, they say follow your passion, right? That's mostly, that's like somewhat true. You don't want to follow your passion blindly, right? So, but you definitely want to be doing creating content around something that you're genuinely interested in, right? Because that's going to provide you with the drive to keep going. That's one. Two, you want to be doing some research in terms of what are the key competitors in that particular niche on YouTube currently, and you could do that simply by just a few YouTube searches, having a look through some of the pre-existing content in that area on those topics, and then also you want to be looking at what does the overall pie look like when it comes to how many views are happening in that area against the level of competition. And then from there, you'll be able to make a better judgment call as to whether that particular niche you're interested in going into is worth the time. Because basically, the last thing you want to do is have some big passion that you're highly motivated to do, but then you get involved in the niche, and then 6 months later you realize it's, despite your drive to want to push further, you're somewhat limited by your ability to captivate an audience that's being captivated by somebody else, right? So those are probably the main things I'd recommend. Yeah, Dinko, if you have any other recommendations, go ahead.
Yeah, and I would also say, if you are trying to build a personal brand and build a business out of it, you have to be very specific in your niche, and you have to know your audience. You have to, before you start producing the videos, you have to have your ideal viewer in mind and their emotions, because getting them emotionally invested in your videos is what keeps them watching for longer and for new more videos, and it's easier for you to sell your products that way. So you have to showcase that you're an expert, that you're the real person, and you have your opinions. You don't have to censor yourself as a creator, and then uh, just listen to your audience's feedback and move accordingly to that. And this is how you build a successful business as well. as a YouTube channel is what I would say.
Great, great, great.
Okay.
Cool.
Great, great.
That's actually really nice insight. So I'm doing a 30 days YouTube challenge basically, wherein I post whatever I've learned today about YouTube. So I think this is something that I'm gonna write today. Anyways, I do have a follow-up question for the same that what were the common mistakes that your clients were making before they joined hands with you? Like, what were some of the mistakes they were making?
Yeah, I've got a good one. So probably an inability at their current level of knowledge to read YouTube analytics correctly. And like an easy one would be something like, so here's a good one, right? Maybe you've had this frustration in the past. So a client will look at so when you look at the dashboard on the YouTube Studio, and it gives you like a very brief summary about the performance of the video ranked against the last 10 videos, right? Sometimes we've had clients before that tend to draw their insights from that section alone, where ideally what you want to be doing is continue through to the actual individual video analytics and then judge click-through rates, CTRs against watch time, and make sure you're finding the right balance of how long are people watching the video for versus how many people are clicking through. So for example, if you've got a high watch time and average view duration, but your CTR and impressions seem lower than usual, you probably have a thumbnail and title issue. If your watch time and average view duration is lower than usual, but your CTR is average or okay, then you've probably got a content issue, right? People aren't sticking around to watch the video simply. So it's more of like that's one big thing that we've noticed is just the ability to actually interpret the metrics through YouTube Studio in the proper way and then draw the right conclusions from them. So yeah, that's what I would say there.
Yeah, and I would
Cool.
also add some of the people are very emotionally attached to just the one video. They don't want to produce more content and they expect, this video has to do well. Why am I not doing well? And they don't realize you have to put more effort and more time into building your channel. It doesn't just grow over time and you post once a month and you expect big things. That's not how it works. So we had to explain to some of our clients, you have to produce a little bit more if you want faster results. It doesn't happen overnight.
True, true, true. So like
True, true. Agree on that.
definitely like we have also seen like the same pattern we are also seeing here in India. Just a
Yeah.
controversial or maybe a fun question to both of you. Like, do you guys actually consume Indian content? Like, uh-huh.
Not currently. Like I do come across it sometimes. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if anything, I'm addicted to watching YouTube Shorts in bed. I really need to kick that habit. It's a tough one because it's so addicting. But that's where I'm just stuck on YouTube Shorts for like an hour before bed, which I shouldn't be doing. I should be trying to relax, and not think about YouTube. But yeah, that's my current current thing.
Got it, got
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah, so
I do have one specific niche that I consume Indian content the most is because I'm not very tech savvy. So if I have some technical issues with my PC, I always look at there's a lot of Indian content creators that make technical stuff about PCs, and there's one big Indian content creator in the Photoshop and thumbnail design space, Pixel Perfect, and I sometimes watch his videos.
crazy, crazy. Yeah, here are actually a lot of tech creators. Like the niche tech is quite famous here. We can see literally everyone in the
Yeah.
street, doing the review about the tech and fixing things. Cool. So
Definitely.
basically,
Yeah.
there is a word in India that we call as jugaad.
Okay.
That simply means that we just have to get things
Uh,
done anyhow.
I see.
yeah.
I see. Yeah, it explains the the savviness around the approach,
Uh-huh.
that we notice when we watch Indian content. Like they always find a way, which is
Yeah.
very,
Yeah,
very
that's
cool.
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
That's true.
Definitely.
yeah.
Cool, cool. Devansh, would you wanna go ahead?
So yeah. I have a question. So yeah, Jordan was talking about like YouTube Shorts, right? So I just want you to draw a kind of comparison between YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, and what things like what do you think makes both of them different?
Yeah. So YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. So primarily, we've noticed that the algorithms tend to be like they are different, right? They're not the same how they rank videos. So for example, right, we might post a video on YouTube as a short, it could get, let's just say, 1,000 views, but that same video might get 5,000 views as an Instagram reel, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
we've been exploring that recently. We haven't been able to come to like a full conclusion. YouTube is our main specialty. We tend for our clients, we'll redistribute content to their social medias to raise the overall water level. But regarding Instagram, what I would just say is, you know, people people tend to consume content on Instagram faster in my opinion. It's not necessarily a fact, but so if you remember Instagram from previous, scrolling through posts on Instagram, like if you've seen, an Instagram consumer scroll through Instagram, they are flicking through enormous amounts of content and then stopping with their thumb as soon as they see something of interest, drop a like, carry on, right? Whereas with YouTube, it's more drawn out. People are watching longer videos, right? You spend more time there, right? So I think Instagram is more designed to be consumed quicker overall, like the platform. So video pacing will probably be more important there in general. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. So I actually also think that there is a mindset difference. Like we open YouTube when we have time, like a good amount of time. But Instagram is like you are waiting for your cab or something. You'll just scroll it out, right? So that
Correct.
mindset shift is
Yeah.
also there.
Definitely.
YouTube is mostly,
Definitely.
like I personally go on YouTube mostly to learn things, and if I want to entertain myself, then I'll go on Instagram, right?
There
And
you go.
also, I
Right.
think
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
platforms are very different from each other, right? YouTube is basically a search engine, but Instagram is a social networking site or social networking app, you would say,
Yes.
right? Mm.
Correct. And but basically playing into what Parul said, there is definitely a mindset shift, right? You're on YouTube to usually consume longer form content. Usually, you may check out the shorts and may get addicted there, like myself. But like with Instagram, there is no, like, Instagram is not known for consuming long form content. Period. Right.
That's true.
That
Yeah.
that'll probably change in the future. Like, obviously we've got TikTok. You're able to upload longer form videos now, all that sort of thing. So this is starting to change. But what they're known for, like what Instagram's known for currently, is more to be consumed, quicker. For like yeah.
In India, actually, there is a
TikTok is
saying
actually,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I was actually about to say the same thing. Go on, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying that TikTok is actually banned in India. So I
There you
think
go.
it got banned. I think last year, right? Or it got banned
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year. Yeah, so we don't use TikTok now. So like you guys might be using it. So what do you think? Like TikTok, if you compare TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts now. So what do you think? Like what is the right platform for new creators, and which platform can help them make more money?
Yeah. So I would say, you want to be like you can't ignore YouTube by default, right? Like YouTube should be basically the primary play. Everything else should be secondary unless you are specifically used to being a short form content creator, right? If you're used to being someone who makes content on TikTok, maybe you're making sales through merchandise or whatever else you're doing usually, then yeah, TikTok might be your primary platform. But if that's not the case, YouTube, once you get big enough, you're able to partner with the advertising program, start earning AdSense. That if that becomes big enough for you, that could replace a full-time income for you, right? And you can also do that on Facebook, but I'm sure Dinko could tell you as well. Like it's a lot. We've noticed it's a lot harder and a much more arduous journey on Facebook compared to YouTube. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Getting monetized on Facebook and other platforms is really hard. That they would give you more AdSense, but YouTube is hard, but all these other platforms can be really annoying to grow. It takes much more time and much more effort. And I think the most of the audience is using YouTube every day, so that's the main play. But everyone should diversify their income and their audience and resources. So I think if you produce videos for YouTube, you should also post them on Facebook. There's also long form monetization on Snapchat, on TikTok as well. So you have the opportunity to post everywhere. So why not use that? And also,
Absolutely.
if you're a brand and you're selling some stuff, you should promote your stuff on all the social media platforms for different viewers to see and to buy from you.
Actually, one thing I've noticed about YouTube is basically your audience will come to watch you. Like, for example, here in India, we do have one creator who creates the reaction videos. Like, he will react on memes and stuff, right? So, that is fixed for my lunch and dinner time, mostly dinner time, right? So, I actually go to YouTube to specifically watch his videos on Monday, and I do have that recalling that he'll be posting videos on Monday at 9 p.m. Like, I've never met him, but then I am probably his genuine audience who knows the basics about him and his approach. So that is the prime difference that I do feel in YouTube and other platforms, that you sort of build a genuine audience. Cool,
Absolutely.
cool. Yeah. So I actually have a beginner's question. For example, let's say if somebody wants to, like you guys started out 3 years back, if somebody wants to start now, what would you suggest? Like, how should they actually learn YouTubing, or maybe what is that first skill they should learn? And on top of that, would you guys suggest them any like free YouTube courses or something, or maybe paid courses? Or what would you suggest? What should be the ideal approach for a beginner?
So I would say first skill to learn is get ready to hustle, right? That's step number one, right? Get ready you're going to be putting in work. I've had a 6 month period last year where I never had a weekend. Like I lost the concept of what a weekend was, right? Like that's not a thing when you're getting started, right? You are most likely going to be working 6, 7 days a week, especially at the beginning. And some days might be less work than others, but you're going to wake up most mornings or most days and be doing something, be making a move on something, having an edit done for a client, or, preparing, looking through statistics, whatever that might be, searching for new clients, right? Possibly hiring more people and trying to build, scramble to build your agency. That's definitely the first thing. So, number one is get ready to work, because without that, all the skills don't really matter otherwise, right?
True.
So that's one. Two, do daily research about how to understand analytics, particularly on YouTube. Once you learn YouTube analytics, you'll find that there's a lot of crossover towards the other platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. Right? So that's two. From there, just be a good editor, right? Like you need to learn how to edit videos and create good thumbnails, like above average edits and above average thumbnails to begin with. Because then when you start to hire new people later, guess who's going to be teaching them the specific part of the job? It's you. So, it's all going to stem from you to begin with as you get everything together. So those are probably the big three things I would say. Dinka, do you have any other suggestions? I'm sure there's something missing.
Yeah, I agree with you in building an agency, and I would add some advice for beginner creators as well who are trying to start their own channel. I would also say build patience at the beginning, because this is a long-term game, so you have to have that kind of mindset. Also, as Jordan said, be willing to put consistent work in, because at some point we had, like he said, more than 6 months when you have no days off, literally. So you work every day, and you have to be ready to do that, and post consistently and expect no results. But to get there faster, I would say look at the biggest channels in your niche, but look at the ones that are trending currently, because what they are doing, like for the past couple of months, this is what currently works. You can't, let's say you are in the sales niche and you want to teach people how to sell, and you look for some creator as an inspiration that was big 3 years ago. So stuff that worked 3 years ago doesn't mean it works today. So you have to look at someone who is trending and then took them as an inspiration.
Yeah, and I'd like to add on to that as well. So I don't know if you're familiar with a pretty large content creator now called Alex Hormozy. He has, I'm paraphrasing one of his quotes, but he says something like, whatever your time horizons are, they're not long enough, right? So always assume that your horizon to where your success is probably not long enough. So for example, I'll give you an example. Me and Dinko talk about sometimes like, oh yeah, we'll probably have another couple of clients in 2 months, but that actually takes 4 months, not 2 months, right? So like that's just an off the top of my head example, but over the long term, you have to have the understanding that things will majority of the time take longer than you expect them to do.
And
But then
fruits of your labor will be even higher than you expected, which is interesting.
that too. So if you're in the game for long enough, right? If you're playing the game for long enough, by the time you get to the place where you thought you would be, the fruits of your labor will probably be even higher than you had thought. But it would take longer for you to get there, most likely. So that's something I usually say to people before they commit to any journey. It's like, understand, like, this is not a short game. Like, you're going to be here for a while, which is not a bad thing because you'll be having successes along the way. But things are longer than you think they are, essentially. Bottom line. Yeah.
Crazy, crazy. Yeah. Devansh, would you like to go on?
Yeah. I think as you said that in the beginning we need to like work 6-7 days a week, right? And there is a high possibility that many creators would feel burnout, right? So I think many people create videos because they love creating it, but somewhere in the journey they realize that they can't just create what they love, right? They need to create what the people like, right? So how should they create a balance between creating videos, uh, what their audience like, and what they like, so that there is no burnout also, because they are eventually giving time to creating videos on topics that they love, right? Or on things that they love. So how do you create that balance?
Yeah. So for first things first, that's the reason why teams like us exist, right? Like we're here to take the workload off you.
Cheers. Cheers
Yeah,
to
cheers
us.
to that, right? So that's obviously one of the biggest things is that once you get to the point where you're making more than enough revenue. You're probably going to be interested in finding a team to start taking all this labor off you, right? Because let's be real, life's supposed to be enjoyed, supposed to have a good time. Like, you got to work for a bit, but like, why are you working, right? To offload more work in the end. Otherwise, why do anything, right? Which is probably the difference between, say, just your average job and what people like us do here. We're aiming for bigger things, bigger freedoms, you know, bigger lines of work, etc. Right? So that's one, right? Look at hiring someone like us, right? Look at being able to keep your creativity involved while also having someone work with you or a team work with you, because that's what tends to happen. Like, most content creators, they're here because they're creative. They're good at what they know. They're good at what they do. They're but when the labor is too much for them, and it's too often, right? They're putting 7 days a week while also trying to be creative on top of it. That's not how things work, right? You need downtime to, like, let your mind run, think through new ideas, brainstorm, all that sort of thing. So where you'll find the balance, especially on the higher end of YouTube, is having people work with you. Now, in saying that, if that's not the case currently and you're running like a solo operation, I would say you'd have to balance things in a way where, ideally, depending on your niche, right, you're uploading multiple times a week, long form videos, maybe a couple of shorts, but you also have at least your up to 50% of your time, like 25 to 50% of your time, spending time just letting yourself do what you came to do, which is be creative, generate ideas, so that the quality of the content is high, essentially. So that's what I will say there.
Yeah, and I'll give you my formula for avoiding burnout, and it would be plan your content ahead, have a day where you just record the content and batch record, so you have a lot of content to work with, and then have a team that helps you produce that content, and you just then enjoy your life. You can produce in 2 days 2 months worth of content, and then you just sit back, do your chores, everyday chores, do your hobbies, and this is how you stay healthy. And you just communicate with your team, follow what your audience wants, because you also asked, how do I know which kind of content should I make? Is it something I enjoy or what my audience wants to see? And you use the tools like creating polls and YouTube community posts to see what your audience wants to see. And this is how you create the topics that you want to talk about and they want to see. So that would be my point to this question.
Crazy. That's actually a blueprint.
Yeah.
Cool. So I do actually have a question followed up to the same question. Basically, now let's get into the revenue sources type kind of question. So,
The
how
money
many
part.
revenues? Cool. So, how many revenue sources do you think a YouTuber having about 1 million subs should be having? And then, what are the maximum number of revenue sources you have seen for one of your clients?
Good question. So in terms of, let me think. So on average, a YouTuber with 1 million subs will probably have something like the following. One, they've probably got, good levels of AdSense revenue coming in directly from YouTube, right? That's one. Two, they probably have a Patreon or some level of exclusive community where there's behind the scenes content coming out, or there's some level of content that is more exclusive to viewers that are interested in keeping up with the content creators more often than not. And then three, obviously, selling courses and merchandise and other services are very popular. What we do find is, we've we've seen a lot of money being made with course selling. So that's definitely a big one. But you really want to be making sure that when you are preparing a course, there is clearly something that separates your knowledge from the rest of the content creators that are also selling courses in a similar fashion, right? And then from there, there's obviously the selling of a service, so consultations based on their niche. Let's just say, if you're like an international tax advisor or something like that, you have like a YouTube channel like that, people will book you in for a call, depending on what price you put against that. And then you'll give them not financial advice according, right? So, or not tax advice according. So there's a bunch of, there's a bunch of different ways, but I'd say on average, those are probably the main things that we've seen. Am I missing anything, Dinka? I think that's probably like...
Yeah, I would if I would have to make a list, I would say repeat what Jordan said. It's ad revenue, courses, services, and then I would also add sponsorships. Some people are also using other social media platforms for ad revenue. Some are using, since they have podcasts, they have donations from their audience. And some of them are also diversifying their income into real estate or crypto. They're also buying stuff on the side, which helps them generate more money and be more safe.
How about affiliate marketing?
Affiliate marketing? Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep,
So
definitely.
here in India, it's actually quite a famous way of making a revenue out of YouTube by just putting good affiliate links out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we've seen a lot of affiliate marketing as well. Basically, from what we've seen, someone might be selling a course, and then there's a lot of neighboring content creators around them where they'll jump onto their shows, and then assist them in selling the course, and then obviously commissions are made and all that sort of thing. So definitely.
Cool. Devansh, would you like to go on?
Yeah, I think the question is now related to AI. Okay, so AI
One of
is
my
just
favorite
taking over
topics.
the world. Every day you wake up, you see a new update, right? So the question is actually related to creating videos using AI, kind of using AI avatars, right? So, how do you see them? Do you think that brands, specifically brands or creators or maybe individuals who want to run cash cow channels, will be using AI for creating videos? And how do you think, or at this point in time, should someone think of doing it, or should they go with a human creator?
Yeah, good
I
question.
would, before Jordan or Dinko answers this, I would actually like to let the Vyansh know that Dinko don't need to answer because he posted this tweet. Let me share. I think it answers it all. Yeah.
I think Jordan
So,
might have a different opinion, so he should
Yeah,
answer.
me and Dinka like to have discussions about this. I'll tell you where my stance is currently. That Dinka can share where he's at. So with AI, I've noticed that. So it essentially my stance is AI has an incredible potential right now to already take over a lot of jobs and a lot of areas of work that it hasn't taken over yet, right? So the technology simply just already exists. At least maybe it's a few updates away, right? Maybe we're a GPT-5 away from taking over the next wave of jobs, for example, or being able to. But the foundational structures for that technology is already here, right? So with that in mind, I'll give you an example of how that might work, right? So just take like your average logistics company or something like that, right? They've obviously got a lot of servers running in the background, like intranets, not internet, intranet, where they're, they have their own systems that people are inputting data and everything accordingly into their own servers, right? You could already, technically speaking, and I'm sure people are already doing this, have an AI trained on your own specific data in the company, and then basically have it sitting on top of the servers effectively or attached to it in some way, however that would come about. And you'd be able to query your servers through the AI and then get whatever results that you needed accordingly. So put it this way, right? With the current technology, if I was, say, the CEO of some logistics warehouse, like, say, a warehouse that I used to work for, I'm pretty confident that if I was to install AI technology, I could probably walk through any office like that and probably just fire 50% of the people, like today, quite frankly. Like if I was tasked to do that, right? So it's an interesting thing because, I understand Dinko mentions like the AI hype has worn off, and that is true. Like the initial wave of social media, of social presence about AI is definitely
Basically,
fallen.
Elon
Yeah.
has stopped tweeting about the same. Hence,
Yeah.
so.
There you go, right? There you go. But, it definitely doesn't take away the fact that, AI, well, the fundamental technology that you need to disrupt society at a technical level is already here. It's just a matter of how many updates away is it now from actually doing that in a very steady and reliable way. So, yeah, feel free to comment there.
I'd like to add, I said that the hype has worn off, and that's true. But as well, if you are good at your job, I think you shouldn't have any doubts that it will replace you. But I think that anyone who is rejecting AI and not using it to their advantage to speed up their process is dumb. It's just stupid.
Yeah, definitely.
Great, great. Yeah. Got it, got it. So I actually have a question regarding who do you think will be next YouTuber that will hit 100 million subscribers? Will it be will that YouTuber be in the same niche as of Mr. Beast, or the niche will be different? What's your take on the same?
Good question. Do you have anything off the top of your head, Dinka? I'm trying to think right
Yeah,
now.
I would say it would have to be someone in the entertainment niche because and I think so because a lot of audience on YouTube is still young people, not many boomers, and young people just want to see something entertaining. They are still not using YouTube to their full potential to learn new stuff. They are mostly watching it just to have fun and turn off their brains.
Yeah, which is a common theme between like a factor that everybody shares, right? Everyone shares an interest at some level of entertainment through content, right? There's probably a very high portion of people that want to consume content about information, right, or learning or education. But that, it's clearly dwarfed against like, I just want to sit there, watch whatever the equivalent of Netflix is on YouTube and call it a day. So yeah, it'd probably still be the entertainment niche, for sure.
Great, great. Yeah, because the audience is relatively wider actually. The
Yes,
niche is quite wide. Got
definitely.
it, got it. So I actually have an agency question before Divyansh go ahead and ask you guys some rapid fire question. I actually have a related question related to the agency. How often do you guys get a brief that says we want to make our channel viral?
A channel
Like,
vital.
yeah, like create some viral content.
Viral content. Oh, Lord. Yeah, it happens. It happens fairly often. Like everyone wants to go viral, right? Like it's just like of course, of course you want to go viral, right? Of course, right?
Yeah, why not?
Why not, right? It's just so a content creator will have assumptions, that they assume that their niche is like the one and only. Their content is already exactly where it needs to be. But you have to remember, like, YouTube is a very stair-stepped journey. You take a step, you take a step, you take a step, right? TikTok's a little different. Like, we've released TikToks for clients. We've done 10 videos, for example, right? 9 of them get a few thousand views. One of them does 500,000 views, right? It's a bit more, it's a bit more like, you know, I don't want to say random in nature necessarily, but I'm sure you get the point, right? But YouTube, it's a matter of understanding that it's going to take some time. Not to say that we've seen clients before who barely get a couple of hundred views. They had one video, it did 200,000 views. And now all of a sudden they're all excited. They think they've won the game. They think like, this is it, done it. We're like, we've reached the top. But what they realize afterwards is they continue to post new videos after that viral video, and their average amount of views only just barely double. Let's just say they we're doing 250 views on average. They get a video that does 100,000 views, but then all the videos after that barely do 500 views on average. So you got it double, but you didn't get, like, you're not 100,000 viewership channel at all. Like, it's just you just kind of doubled what you just got. So yeah, it's a, like, we warn content creators that, like, okay, you might get a viral video, you definitely might, but just pay attention to how that influences the rest of your week to week YouTube. It's not going to be, you're not suddenly at the top necessarily. It's, what I say.
Cool. So, do you guys actually consume any sort of channels that teaches you how to YouTube, or maybe you guys learn by doing all the practical stuff?
We've learned, I would say personally, I've learned a lot more through practice and trial and error than I have from, like, a particular YouTube channel. Not to say that I haven't researched, obviously. I've probably got God knows how many hours of research behind me regarding YouTube, but I've got even more hours actually doing work, right? So, and what's interesting is I take that experience forward, right? So me and Dinko will start with a new client, and that client will have a particular problem on their channel. Maybe CTR aren't as good, their thumbnails just aren't converting, etc., etc. But what we find is it's not some YouTube video that teaches us about YouTube that helps us with their issue. It's all of our past experience combined, where we've seen similar issues before, and then we can attack them accordingly. That's what helps us more than anything. But yeah, what about you, Dink? Are you watching anything right now?
Yeah, I would like to add to Jordan's stuff that Jordan and I are very data driven, so we like to just sit on the team meetings and look at the channel analytics from different clients, and this is how we draw conclusions. We don't usually just watch other creators and try to learn from them. I think it's always best to learn hands-on. At least for me, that's what kind of person I am. If I'm doing something, this is how I like to learn. And like bounce back ideas with Jordan, because sometimes he notices something that I didn't notice. Sometimes I notice something, and this is why we do a lot of team meetings, and it's very helpful for us that way.
Yeah, always have team meetings, and honestly, you don't have to make them serious and bland or whatever. Like, have fun. Like, you should be having a good time working on business, right? Getting stuff done. Everyone wants to get stuff done. You all want to reach the same goal. So, have a good time, make the team meetings fun. Everyone's going to show up, and, try to, like, learn what happened with previous clients, why that didn't work, why this worked, and then, apply that forward, right? So, yeah.
Crazy. That's actually true. That is the same approach that we are having. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's actually true. So
Actually,
like
last
on
night only Parul and I had a Parul and I had a meet last night only around the same topic. So we were just talking about CTRs, intelligence, and all.
yeah,
Yes,
that's
definitely.
actually an
Yeah, Parul, you
that's
can.
I feel that that's the only way to learn. Like you cannot actually learn
Yeah.
from by looking at the charts of somebody else's channel that you don't have a control of.
Definitely.
That the video packaging you have
Right.
not done and stuff. Cool.
Yes,
So I
absolutely.
actually have
Right.
one more question regarding the same. So in the beginning, like I'm just taking you guys 3 years back when you didn't have any portfolio to showcase to the clients.
Mhm.
What was your approach back then in order to crack your first deal?
Yeah, so so with the first YouTuber that I'd worked with, we we showed in like I showed initiative, right? I said, hey, there's a few things I think that could be done better in your operation. I already know how to edit some videos. You know, I'm happy to have a go and see how this goes. So that was like the original uh, thing that I had was probably just tenacity, right? It's like, I want this, I'm going to get this, this is how it's going to get done, right? Going forward from there, we had word of mouth was definitely our biggest factor, and quite honestly still is. Like word of mouth, like, we are good at doing a good job, right? That's what we do, right? So we're good at doing a good job. Clients like that, then their other content creator friends are like, hey, I've got all this work and I can't bother doing it myself. I just want to make content. And then friend says, hey, once you go speak to Jordan and Dinko, they might be able to help you out. It's pretty much how it works usually. So that's pretty much like the advancement of how it all happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
suggesting few changes always works. Cool.
hmm
Dinko, do you have like any memories from the beginning days of your journey?
Yeah, I would say what you have to do first, you have to make sure you are good at what you do, and this will give you the confidence. And when you approach clients, especially your first client, when you don't have too much to show off to them, you just have to build conviction and have no doubt in your skill, and then you pitch them. You don't go approach them with, "Hey, I need work." You go to them, "Hey, this is what you do. I like this about your content, and this can be approved. And these are the exact steps on how I can help you improve your content. Would you like to give me an opportunity? Like, if you have no work to showcase, you can first do an edit for free, and after you kill it for them, they will hire you for sure. And when you smash, like we usually do with all of our clients, they will just recommend you to someone else. This is how you grow.
Definitely.
Crazy, crazy. And how big is your team size?
Right now, so let me think. There's three. Well, probably I'm trying to think. We were at like 20 people, including freelancers, a little while ago. We've kind of like we're doing a lot of we're in like a pretty big transition stage where we're gearing up for some new things. So that number is changing pretty
Yeah,
fast.
I would say we
Yeah.
have four people that are here full time with our management team, and then we have 10 to 15 contractors that we some of them we are using more, some of them less, depending on our needs and their availability as well.
Definitely. Mhm.
Great, great, great. Cool, cool. So right now we do have one rapid fire for you guys, and that Divyansh can take it up. So yeah, like you
Yeah.
have to be we can set up something like firstly Jordan, then Dinko can answer. So that piece we can do.
Sure, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
Okay, so let's start with the rapid fire. The first one is, what would you prefer, a high CTR or more impressions?
Uh, More high CTR. Yeah. Thinker, what about you?
I would prefer more impressions if I'm a business oriented channel, if I'm a personal brand, but if I'm cash cow, then I would just do higher CPM.
Okay, great. 100 million on client's channel or 100 million on your own channel?
100 million on our own channel, just because we can harness that far better ourselves. Yeah.
We're going to send this to your clients.
Yeah, we just keep that one aside. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Dinko, what
agree.
about you?
Pre-production.
No, no.
Yeah,
So
Dinko
actually,
is next.
Divyansh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would also like to have 100 million on our channel as well. That the clients.
Crazy,
Definitely.
crazy. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Next one is pre-production or post-production.
Pre-production. What are you referring to exactly?
Basically doing the scripting, content strategy and stuff.
Ideation,
Right.
ideation and all.
We post-production because that's our specialty, but we do pre-production as well. Yeah.
Yeah, post production for me as well, because I like to mold something good into something much better.
Definitely. There you go.
Great. Nice answer. Next one, short form content or long form content.
Long form. Yeah.
Long form, easy.
Yeah.
Any day, any day.
Okay.
Any day. Yeah. Definitely.
Great. A script written by AI or a script written by a human. What would you prefer?
I'm going to say AI because it's just so much faster, quite honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I would also have to say AI here, even though I'm not a big fan of AI.
AI fan.
It's just better than humans.
yeah.
Okay. Last one, thumbnails without a copy or with a copy.
Well, that didn't catch that.
He's saying that thumbnail without a copy or thumbnail with a copy.
Thumbnail with copy, just like 2 to 4 words max. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. Something that sparks the interest but doesn't reveal too much. Just a couple of words.
Yep.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so that's actually all
That's
from
all.
the rapid fire. But then I actually have a question. The one thing, like you both have to answer. One thing, Dinko, you like about Jordan, and one thing, Jordan, you like about Dinko, and one thing that you both hate about each other.
Okay, sure.
Okay, what I like
go ahead.
about Jordan is his creativity and ability to move fast on something, on our decisions. When we decide something, we move fast and we complement each other in our work. And the one thing I hate about Jordan is his ability to forget forget everything in meetings and stuff. So I have to remind him.
Yeah, no, that is well, what's funny is that's what I like about Dinko because he keeps me grounded. I'm very much I run around and get a lot of things done, but not necessarily in a very structured way. So Dinko's like, hey, we got this at this time, we got that at that time. And then the thing I don't like about Dinko is he's just the most ugly guy I've ever met in my life, to be honest. Like, he just looks quite frankly disgusting. No, I mean, I'm trying to think. I would just say, yeah, honestly, to be honest, I haven't even thought about that. Like, I don't know how to hate you yet, Tinker. So you're doing a great job. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. That the chemistry is really nice. So, do you in the end, we actually generally ask our guests if you guys have any question for us. We would love to answer them. But yeah, that's all we had.
Definitely. I would say what are the main differences that you're noticing between the Indian market that you guys are usually serving compared to say like the US market? Out of curiosity.
Firstly, there is a saying in India that we are actually behind what is what the trends are there in America right now. We are actually behind 3 years. So right now in America, we are actually seeing that there are no text-based thumbnails. They don't have any thumbnail copyright. But in India, our audience still prefers to have a thumbnail copy written over a thumbnail just to understand what the video is all about, right? So that sense of ability in the audience is not yet developed correctly. So that is one thing that we actually notice quite often. Devansh, anything?
Yeah, I think I agree with Parul, and I think the question is kind of that Parul can answer better, because currently I am more into the content side, so I'm just kind of learning YouTube. So I don't know much about like how the Indian market differs from the US market.
Yeah, I
Got it.
would also like to include one more thing that when we work for overseas clients, is it's so easy to get our worth, but in India it's very difficult to actually ask for the amount that boss we need this much to actually work. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is a major difference, honestly, here.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
It's like in India,
Yeah.
like everyone loves to bargain, and everyone wants like the best quality at the lowest rates.
Yes.
As I mentioned,
So that's a
Jugad.
challenge.
So yeah.
Yeah,
The best deal.
it's regard
Yeah.
that.
I understand.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Yeah. Dinko, did you have any
Yeah,
feedback on
I
that?
would ask you guys, in your experience, what are the red flags in clients? What do you don't like to see at first, and you like they do something that you immediately say, I don't want to work with this person.
Yeah, so actually, while let's say while I'm on a yeah, Devansh, do you want to go first?
yeah. I think the first red flag that I see is when they ask us to work at a lower price, right? And they just say that we'll work for a long term, so that's why we are, making this deal at a
Negotiating
lower
well.
price. So I think that's a red flag that even if someone wants to work for long term with you, you should not lose your worth, right? So that's one thing, and I think second thing is, when the clients just want they just posted one or two videos, and they just keep asking, okay, how's that doing, why it's not doing well. So I think what we basically I personally want is let first 9 or 10 videos go out, and then we can see what's working, what kind of content is working, and what kind of content is not working, and then make a new strategy if that one is not working. But there are clients that just want everything perfect from the first video. So I think that is a kind of red flag for me.
Basically,
Parul, you
that's
can.
a very big red flag for us actually, when you don't have that creative freedom. Like you want the results, but you're not allowed to experiment. And
Yeah.
obviously, on YouTube, without
Right.
experimentation, there is no set formula, right? So that is there. They just think that, if we have grown multiple channels of other clients, of other brands, then we can replicate the same thing into theirs. But what they don't understand is, it took us about 7 8 months to actually understand, or to actually get to a good subscriber rate. So that is actually a very big red flag for me. And obviously, when I'm on the discovery call, whenever I hear that, yeah, this is we have already done, this is what we know, tell us something new or something like that. So my first thing is that, in my mind, I'm prepared that I don't want to work, because if you already know something, why are you not executing it? And if we are willing to execute it, then why you're not providing us with that creative freedom? So that is, for me, is a big no, that I don't actually want to work and go ahead with the same.
Yeah, we understand. It's in particular the hardest ones to deal with are like if a client is struggling with watch time and view duration from the viewers, right? That means the content is usually the piece of the channel that's struggling. So you have to be able to make suggestions to the content creator to basically, change how they're usually doing their content. And, a lot of content creators are already very committed to their usual style of content creation, even if it's not working. So yeah, we do understand the troubles there, and
True, true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
More or
absolutely.
less, it works in the same fashion only.
Yeah, pretty
True,
much,
true.
pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much about the podcast. Thank you so much for doing the same. A lot of insights, and I think this will be going live super soon. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. We actually hope that you guys enjoyed the podcast, the conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much for the invitation. We appreciate coming on, and yeah, it's a great conversation. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Cool. Can
as
we
well.
just
Thank you. I
actually,
had
yeah,
pleasure
yeah.
talking to you guys.
Mhm.
Can we click one picture? Like, can we all smile once?
Sure,
Yep.
no problem.
Yeah, I'll take a screenshot. Done, done, done. All good, all good.
Awesome.
Cool. So I actually told Tenko that we are brothers and sisters from different countries doing the same thing, siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that sounds about
Absolutely.
right. Mhm.
Yeah. So